Morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, thought I was gonna do Earth next, but I'm actually gonna do water. So, this is the water Precon breakdown review. Be up front, I did not enjoy this one as much as Fire or some of the other ones. So I will try to give as much unbiased as I can. So let's go ahead and start with the avatar. Now, I actually really like the concept, and I like this avatar. So 21, pretty normal, tap, player draw, a site. You may move to water sites you play. Whenever you play a new site, and if it's a water site, you can straight up move to it. This enables a playstyle that is more aggressive and more risky too, because your avatar is a lot closer to the action. There's really two ways you can work with your avatar. You can either have your avatar be part of the front line, or you can try to hold and hide your avatar. I do actually like this playstyle, this aggressive push forward with your avatar type playstyle. I think it is actually quite good, especially with some of her units, which allow for really nice blocking. It's actually very, very fun. I would suggest, if you haven't given it a try, give a very aggressive approach to water, and I think you will have more luck and have a lot more fun with it. Her other ability is the site you are on is also a water site. Now, it doesn't change it from like fire to water, it just becomes fire and water. This is very important for A, a lot of her units, and B, the kind of strategy that you're going to take in with this deck. And what you may end up moving forward through into a more outside of a casual Precon format. I'm not going to say competitive. I really don't want to use the word competitive for this game. This is the last thing I really want. I want this old 1993-94 Magic feel, and it has it. And I'd like to stay away from the word competitive. Okay, so the avatar is really quite nice. Very flavorful, very, very good. Alright, let's move on to one of her unique sites. Tadpole. Pool. Weird. Tadpole pool. Okay, interesting. If you have 3 water threshold, when it comes into play, summon 3 0 power frog tokens. Now, I'm a little confused, because if they were 0 power, wouldn't they just like die because they don't have any toughness? But okay, maybe they have to still be dealt damage, and that's fine. That works too. But the frog tokens have 1 power. They're not 0 power. And they have submerge, where it doesn't say summon 3 1 power frog tokens with submerge here. We're kind of used to more card games that have a very specific wording on them, and unfortunately, I get that the goal is to have as least amount of wording as possible, but we also saw that a lot in some very older card games where that caused a lot of confusion too. So I would probably change the wording to this to say summon 3 X power, 1 power or 0 power, or token to 0 power. I think 1 power is fine. Like, you're only getting 3 of them. Summon 3 1 power frog tokens with submerge here. That's what I would just make sure you have that on there. Not everybody's going to have the tokens. So what about if you're a new player, right? You're a new player. Maybe bought the Precon and you bought it, the unlimited version of it. Maybe it didn't come with the tokens, and then so you're just using dice or something. Well, you wouldn't know they have submerge. And power is wrong on the token, or the power is wrong here. So that's a critique that I would fix there. And again, what is on the tabletop mod may be outdated. May all be fixed already, Okay, next one is another unique site, Maelstrom. 2 threshold, Genesis, pull avatars and minion 1 step closer to the site. Okay, so one of the issues I have with this is it's a unique site. It only gives 1 threshold. If this gave 2 threshold, I probably would move on from right here. I would move on. But it only gives 1 threshold. And its Genesis ability isn't really that. It can be, but it's so situational. I don't know if it's worth being a unique for. This was on an exceptional site or elite site. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, I would just give this another threshold, or I would change and remove the Genesis, make this cost 6 threshold, and then I don't know, make it deal a point of damage to itself. Now, just leave it the way it is. Add 1 more threshold. Give this double threshold, and I think this card becomes better. Honestly, I still just don't find this card that great, no matter what. And anything I think of is going to be probably too overpowered, so better to keep it underpowered. Okay, this is an elite site. In fact, I think this site is better than the Maelstrom. This is Leviathan Island. So it has 1 threshold, 6 threshold. This island can defend itself with a power of 12 until defeated once. That is sick. Like, this is a good land. This is what I'm looking for. You put this up close, up front. Once you get to that 6, anybody who's trying to do like, a weenie rush is definitely going to avoid these, because they're just going to smash their people onto it. Super good, really good site. Definitely want to get 2 of these. Now this is a rare, so it's an elite, so you can only have 2 in the deck. That's fine. I would play both. Another exceptional site, Undertow. 1 threshold. When it comes into play, drag a minion in this body of water to the site. I actually really like this for a couple reasons. 1, doesn't say an ally or doesn't say an enemy minion. So you can bring over 1 of your minions, you can bring over 1 of theirs. Also, doesn't really fit the theme, but you can also grab aerial units, which is great. I like this one. This is the type of control I was kind of expecting from Wolf. So this is a very good site. I definitely will be using these when I do play. Floodplain. I'm going to be honest, this is probably my favorite land out of the whole group, is Floodplain. The site directly in front of Floodplain is also a water site. This I really like. The idea with this is to push and turn their lands into waters. Now, the land destruction or land denial or anything like that, because it's also on top of whatever it is, will also be water. So a desert would produce fire and water. So it would be desert and a water site. But as we go through the rest of these cards, we'll see a lot of the synergies that they were looking at doing with this. Okay, and then we have the 3 commons. They're all going to be the same. Genesis, look at the top card of your spellbook. You may put it on the bottom. So If you play Magic, it's an opt. I actually really like this a lot. I really, really, really like the opting is great. Ooh, I've never had an opportunity to opt and said, man, I don't want to opt. Nope. Every time. Opt is great. So the lands are good. I think there's a couple, like some of the bigger ones I'm kind of mad on. The Tadpole's fine. The Maelstrom, I just wouldn't say it on it. Or if I do, it would not be a high priority one. Alright, let's look at some other things here. Now, they did have one unique creature here. So 7 with a 3 threshold, 3 power, immobile. Once per turn, when you summon a minion nearby, draw a spell. Okay, this is going to take a little bit more playtesting to be able to critique this properly, but my gut says it's a good card. Some things do worry me. The immobile worries me. 3 power worries me. Three power is a very dangerous power. There's a lot of spells in the game that do 3. So she is rather easy to zap. If she had Submerge instead of or of, she'd be incredible because she'd be much harder to kill. But as she is, she's very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. But over the course of a couple turns, you are going to net quite a bit of cards if you can keep the minions coming out. My gut says she's good. Experience tells me she is vulnerable. But yeah, I mean, I do like her. I just wish I could keep her in play for longer than a turn. Okay, Wrath of the Sea. Probably my favorite water card. It is an elite magic card, so you can have 2 of them in the deck. Cost 7 with a 2 threshold. Sites near water also become water sites until end of turn. Then you submerge all minions and relics on water site. Means without the submerge ability die if they are submerged. This hits airborne. This is a Wrath of God. This is what you expect out of a Wrath of God. It's going to kill most of their minions. Period. Unless you're going against another water deck. Then you're not going to kill that much. I'm a big fan of Wrath of God and board wipe effects. This is a good one. This card alone makes me want to splash water as a secondary cover. And it's not terribly hard because it is 2 threshold. That's not that hard to get. Especially when we look at the dualies that come out later. This is splashable. And yeah, I think a lot of decks are going to end up splashing water just for this card. It is very strong. Probably easily the strongest card. Let's take a look at the next card. An elite monster, the Kraken. 7 with a 3 threshold and 8 power. It has Submerge. Whenever this Kraken surfaces to attack, you may attack all nearby enemy minions simultaneously. So, before we go any further, let's look at the wording on Submerge. Okay. Submerge. This minion may be summoned submerged under a water site. It may be tapped to submerged under a water site it is on, or to surface onto that site. It may be tapped to surface onto the site above it to attack or to block an attack against the site or an allied avatar or minion. So we're actually going to break this number 3 down a little bit more. This should probably be 2 points instead of 1. So we're going to say it may be tapped to surface onto the side above it to attack. Stop. Number 3.5, it may be tapped to surface onto the site above it to block an attack against the site or an allied avatar or minion. The reason why I want to break this down is because, first off, the ore makes this very more complicated. So pretty much you can tap it and attack. Now if you attack, you have to attack whatever's at your site. You can't, move forward and attack if you're submerged. So that's important to remember, because it says may surface onto the site above to attack. And now I may be wrong, but that's how I'm reading it. We would need clarification on this. I think submerged needs the most amount of clarification out of all these abilities. So it may be tapped to surface onto the site above it to attack. So I guess you can also read that as you tap it, it comes back up to the top of the site, and then you attack, and part of the attack action is moving. So maybe you do get a move. This would need more clarification. Or you can tap it to block an attack against the site you are on, against the site, or an allied avatar or minion. Now it doesn't say allied avatar or minion that you're at. So again, with the attack part, can you move? So say you were here and you wanted to block an attack here and you were submerged, would you pop up and then move your thing? If you do one, you should do the other. So depending on how you play it, I think it just needs a little bit more wording on that. All right, number 4. It can interact with submerged relics. Okay. Number 5. While submerged, it may be tapped to move to an adjacent water site or to attack a submerged minion under the same site. So again, let's go back up to 3. So you may be tapped to surface on. Okay, so this one, maybe while submerged, it may be tapped to move to an adjacent or to attack a submerged. So it sounds like with number 3, you would go above the site and you would move if you wanted to move for the attack. So then the block would also be able to move, because this is being more clarified. While submerged, it may be tapped to move to an adjacent water site or attack a submerged minion under the same site. If you do this attack a submerged minion under the same site, then you wouldn't have to submerge your minion. Also, it's a great way to be able to attack minions that are submerged. So yeah, submerge is submerge. It is interesting. So let's look at Kraken. So you're going to pay 7, you're going to get 8 power, you're going to submerge him. And then you may tap him to unsubmerge him in an attack. And when he does, he's going to attack all nearby enemies simultaneously. Nearby is the key there. He's going to attack in a 3x3 square grid. That is really good. He's the big bad of this one. Very good creature. Definitely want to get him towards the middle, the way he gets the most amount of reach. Okay. The Amoeba. Cost 3 threshold. 0 attack. So I guess if they have 0, they can still live. This Amoeba gains +1 power for each site it has visited. it continues to occupy those sites. Use markers to keep track of sites that it has visited. This card causes problems. Okay. Well, let's say I'm here. I move here. I'll use a token. I'll move here. I'll use a token. So technically, this card is more like this. According to the wording. So, now granted, these can't move or anything, but he is still occupying these sites. Does that mean that I attack this site? This one is still here. He is occupying the site. Can I block? And if I do block, does it tap the whole amoeba? Or would it just tap a part of the amoeba? That doesn't, right? So, yeah, questions ensue here. What happens with this? I don't even use these. I just use tokens. And okay, I attack the site. If he's untapped, can he defend the site? Because technically he's here, but he's here and he's also here. So that work, or do I just have to tap this token? Like, there's so many questions. Really, so many questions with it. I'm gonna hate to see the Sprinkle and Ask Questions book when that comes out. So that's my question. Is like, how exactly does this card work? Because my brain wants it to work one way, and I'm not sure if that's the way it works. Because of the way that says it continues to occupy those sites, so you can't stretch the card out, so you just use, other things to signify it. Either which way, it's still kind of a meh card. It might be a better card if like you could block without tapping the main body of it, but you got to visit a lot of sites, and that's going to take a couple turns to really get this guy ramped up. Yeah, it's okay, but he doesn't cost a lot, so at least it's cheap. I don't know. I don't really know how to critique it, because I just don't know how it's supposed to, like, what the developers intend. Let's take a look at another one. Cost 4 with a 2 threshold. 0 attack. Again, another 0 power minion. Exceptional, so you can have 3. This Undine gains +1 power for each site of a body of water she's in. Alright, that's actually not bad. So, like, so how that works is, say she was here, you would count each site that is connected to the water. So this is a water site, so we'd count 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 sites connected together, which would be 3 sites in this body of water. So she would have 3 power. Yeah, it's not about, she's not bad. She's not bad at all. A little weird, but not bad, especially if you're playing your lands properly. Become real good. Alright, next one. The Bullfrog. 5 with 1 threshold, or 3 attack. Exceptional, so 3 of them. When this Bullfrog attacks an enemy minion for the first time, it instead swallows that minion and keeps it in its belly until it leaves the realm. Okay. So most important part is it says the word instead. That is a very important breakdown on this. So if, say, Kraken was here, Frog, go in there, you attack. So instead of the attack, so the attack would stop, and this ability would trigger, which would eat the Kraken. Now the Kraken will come back when Frog dies, but yeah, that's really good. The Frog is good, especially with that instead part. Allows you to do it before damage is dealt. Very good minion. Definitely play with these. Okay, Flood. Cost 4, 1 threshold. Exceptional Aura. Conjure at the intersection of 2 or 4 locations, of which at least one is a water site. Affected sites are water sites and only provide water threshold, but keep their other abilities. This is powerful. Now, this is resourced because it removes their old threshold, turns it into a water threshold. Very, very good card. Doesn't have any kind of countdown like a thunderstorm or something like that. Yeah. If I were making changes to this deck, I would add 2 more of these into. Okay, Frost Nova costs 3, 1 threshold. Exceptional magic of explosive cold. Deals splash damage around your spellcaster. Freeze minions damaged by this Nova until the start of your turn. It's actually not bad. Again, 3 damage is kind of the sweet spot for damage right now. So 3 and 5. So 3 damage in a circle around your spellcaster. Very good. It's a very, very good, solid spell. I like the spell. I would definitely run more of these. Okay. Sirens. 3 with a 2 threshold for 3 power. Submerged. At the start of an opponent's turn, the Sirens charm the closest enemy minion cardinal direction. That minion must move towards them. Fable. So here's more of this movement control that we were seeing with Maelstrom. We will see with some. So, start of their turn, you're going to choose a minion, the closest minion that is in a cardinal direction. Closest left, right, up, down. And it's going to move towards these Sirens. It's honestly not bad. It can really kind of mess with an opponent's game plan. And again, it's 3 for 3, which is fine. They're not bad. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. 2 with 2 threshold and 2 power. Submerge. These Naiads can surface anywhere in the body of water they are in. These things are sick. They're very good. Especially with floods, Avatar changing things over to bodies of water. You can get a lot of fast movements out of these characters. These are good. Run these. Especially if you're doing like a flood style push deck. Very good minion. Kappas. Cost 4 with 2 threshold, 3 attack. Iron Skin. The site these Kappas occupy is also a water site. Again, we're seeing this theme here again. This is a very good theme. Yeah, run these. They're a little weak, and they do cost a little bit more than their power. They do have the Iron Skin, which means it takes 6 to kill them instead of 3. Not bad at all. And being able to, again, turn sites into water is super, super good. Especially as we see more and more cards that come out that will deal with water sites. This is a very strong effect. And the art is brutally... Anyway, Coral Reef Kelpie. Cost 3 with 1 threshold for 3 power. Submerge. An ordinary creature. Actually decent. There's not much to say on this one. It is what it is. The Melissa Brown art was very good. Yeah. No, very good. Nothing to really complain about. Okay. 3 for 2 threshold deep sea mermaids. 2 power. Submerge. Genesis. Draw a spell from the bottom of your spell book. Yeah, it's not a bad card. I mean, you're paying 3 for 2 power submerge, but you also replace the card. So unlike the Cube, so very similar to the QP, except for you're losing a power, but you're getting another card out of it. Cantrips are always nice. It's a good creature. Dodge roll. This is something I don't think we saw in the fire deck, which is surprising. I figured the fire would have had it. A quick spell. So it says ordinary quick. What that means is you can play this during your opponent's turn. Cost 0 for and 2 threshold. Ally in harm's way moves to an adjacent location. Cancel attacks, spells, or abilities targeting it. Now here's my problem. Immobile. This minion cannot move. A minion with immobile can still be forcibly moved through card effects. Okay. So, you could use dodge roll to save your Mother Nature. Because this is forcing a move versus you just choosing to move. I like dodge roll. Dodge roll is great. In a lot of ways, it's kind of a counterspell in some ways. Yeah, good card. Ground. Cost 3, 1 threshold. Ordinary magic. Submerge a minion on a water site. Again, if the minion doesn't have submerge, it will die. So this costs 3 to pretty much kill a minion on a water site. Again, with floods, with floodplains, with your avatar, kappas. Turning their sites into water is not hard. I wish the starter deck came with 3 more of these. I wish I had 4 of these in the starter deck. Because, well, that ancient dragon is a pain in the butt. And this is a great way to kill that ancient dragon. Yeah, so staple card. Staple water card right here. 1 threshold, Swamp Buffalo. 2 power, nothing else special, so it's 1 for 2. Vanaline, yeah, it's fine. A filler creature, take it. Icelands, cost 3 and 1 threshold. Deal 3/1 damage to avatars and minions in a line from your spellcaster. First off, you have to have a spellcaster next to their minions. If you noticed, there's not a lot of spellcasters in at least not in the Precon. Maybe if you were splashing this in, say, like a water fire deck, an Is It deck, I think you'd get more use out of it. There's more spellcasters there. Plus, I'm sure we will see more spellcasters at some point. Still 3 for a total of 6 damage. Split up. Just don't know how I feel about it. Haven't really. When I played with water, I get a chance to really use it. There was never opportune time to get the most amount out of it. So a lot of times you're just paying 3 for 3 damage. Unfortunately, there are way better spells in other colors, other elements for that than that. So, yeah. Yes, it could be good, but my gut says it's bad. Marine Voyage costs 1 with 1 threshold. Ship your allies in one body of water. Ship your allies in one body of water any way you like. Now, I'm assuming the intent is that you can move your allies any way you want. It doesn't say move one ally, so I guess you could literally move every ally in the body of water to any other sites. Now, they could have meant with ship as shift, and you would only move them one spot, but that's not how I've been playing it because it just doesn't feel right. But I don't think you should be able to move all your allies to a whole bunch of different places. Maybe if this card said ship your allies in one body of water to a location of your choice in that body of water, then you would have to have a destination location. But as it is now, you can just get a rearrange your entire board. If it stays like this, it's probably overpowered. It's a damn good card. Use it, run them. Okay, the crabs. We finally get to the crab. Cost 1 with 1 threshold to attack. Iron skin, so they do 4 damage. The crabs can only move sideways. So if you place them there, they can move here, 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 here. They cannot move up or down. I mean, they're not bad. They're a 2/4 for 1. It's not bad at all. But that restriction does kind of get around it with some other cards with like Blink if you're running air, or Fire has sites that just straight up move. So there are ways to reposition these without moving them. I like them. Kind of wish the starter had more of them. Oh, and Upwell. Cost 5 to threshold. Return a site near your spellcaster. Everything there to its owner's hand. I actually really like this one a lot. It's going to essentially, if you target one of your opponent's sites, it's going to force them to tap their avatar again to play that site and use up some mana to play whatever minions were on. If you use this against your site, you could bring back like your floodplain and then place it in a better spot. You bring back your Maelstrom and get its effect again. You can bring back your Leviathan Island. Say maybe it's been defeated once, so its effect is no longer active. Well, playing a new one should reset that. You can bring back your Tadpole and get 3 more frogs. So, yeah, this is a great card. This is a solid card. Very good card. Okay. Unland Angler. 5 to threshold for attack. Submerged Waterbound. It's our first Waterbound card. Waterbound means if it is ever in a site that is not a water site, it dies. At the start of your opponent's turn, if this angler is submerged and there are no enemy minions here, a nearby enemy minion must move towards it. Enemy minions here are disabled. Very good card. You're going to place this down somewhere. It has more than 3 health, so it's going to get through a lot of different fire. Thunderbolts. The 4 health is very, very good. Also, don't forget you have dodge, which spells, and move it. Fortunately, if you do move all the minions that are there would become enabled again. Here's the important part. Yes, The effect to make them move to the location is turned off once one minion is there. But the disabled effect doesn't matter how many minions are there. So if you have a way to move their minions to that site other than the Angler's ability, it will also disable those minions too. So it can disable more than one minion. It's a very good control card. I like this one a lot. Okay, the relic that came with this is Sunken Treasure. Costs 2, colorless. Long lost exceptional relics waiting to be found. Your opponent chooses one of your water sites. As this treasure enters play, submerge it there. When the bearer of this treasure surfaces, controller draws 2 cards. Sacrifice this treasure. I actually really like this card. First off, I like any cards that let me draw as king. This is not hard for you to get. Again, there's lots of things that allow you to move fast. It does say your opponent chooses one of your water sites. So they can't choose a water site that you turned into a water site that is theirs, but is now a water site. It has to be one of the sites that you placed. So that's always a plus. This is just super good. Very good card. Love it. Okay. Pirate ship. Cost 3. 1 threshold. 5 attack. Waterbound. So if it is ever in a site that is not a water site, it will be sacrifice. I mean, it's 3 for a 5 power. That's really strong. If you are pushing water, you should be able to get this thing on the offensive. I wish this deck had more of them in it. If you are not pushing water, it's not a bad wall, pretty much. It can defend the waters. A very good card. Like, don't let this one slip through the cracks. This is a good card. Polar bears. Cost 2, 2 threshold, 3 attack. These bears can move between sites at the top and bottom edges of the realm as if they were adjacent. What that means is one there and one there. Move that way. Bottom. Not side to side. Only top and bottom. Where you're going to see this the most happen is where your avatar starts. Play these, move them up, and boom, you're on their avatar. Polar bears, fun. Good card. These are good. Power is greater than their cost. I have nothing to say, nothing bad to say about polar bears. You guys rock. And again, another Melissa card. Riptide costs 2, 1 threshold. Ordinary magic, trap the unwary. Pull an avatar or minion to a water site adjacent to them. Draw a spell. Okay. Again, it doesn't say enemy or ally. So here's a way to get those crabs to move up. Here is another way to get an enemy to move into the angler location. This is the way water deals with control. Very, very good. Very subtle, but very good. Okay, Sea Serpent. Cost 4 for 1 threshold, 5 attack. Submerged, waterbound. So it's very similar to the pirate ship, except for it has submerge. Is submerge worth 1 cost? It might be. But either which way, pretty much what I said about pirate ship is going to apply to this. I do like pirate ship a little better. I like the cheaper cost, but the same thought pattern is going to go into. Okay, Swan Maidens. This is another card I wish we had. 2, 1 threshold, 2 attack. Airborne Submerge. I really, really like Airborne. Airborne's one of my favorite mechanics. So having it on a creature that can submerge or fly around, very good. Yeah, I like these guys a lot. Okay, that is going to conclude the water one. We've definitely seen some interesting things with like combos between this, Riptide, some ways to protect from Mother Nature with your dodge roll, ways to kill, straight up get rid of some stuff with a nice push between these, floodplains, blood, gives and Kappas, give you a nice way to push into their realm, into their territories and turn them into water for your pirate ships and your sea serpents to wreak some havoc. We got some interesting movement tech with the polar bears, and we have some interesting movement tech on your side too. We have a way to get rid of some really nasty creatures as long as you can keep this good boy alive. And we have a lot of confusion with an Amoeba. All in all, it's not a bad pre-constructed. I wish it had a little bit more consistency in some of the other cards, but it's not bad. I do consider it the weakest of the four. Sorry, I do consider it the weakest of the four, but with a little tweaking, this can become a very strong template. Just by tweaking out some of the unnecessary cards and adding in a little bit more duplicates for consistency on some of the better cards. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. I will be getting the other two done here shortly, next couple days. Should also see some gameplay video and maybe even impromptu how to play. Yeah, I'm excited for Sorcery. I'm hoping that you guys are excited for it too. Next time.